So I spent about 6 hours today, I reckon, getting rid of most of my triangles. This is my old one. This is the one before I put any work in. And if you can tell, like up here, I was focused on getting rid of n-gons and not really thinking about triangles at all. So I have triangles all over the place. And if you look at the front, like in these corners, the corners are all triangles all the way down around. And then if we move on to the result of today's efforts, I've got these guys are now more or less no triangles, except where it's fairly unavoidable. I'm not a math genius, but I don't know how to turn a corner into a square. And then around the edges here, I've made some progress. I will probably drag this down and turn that into a square. That's something I know how to do, because I did it like here. And also I have a series of fairly continuous loops going all the way around the sides, getting rid of n-gons there. A great number of just small changes is pretty much what I've done. And everything being broken out into more or less individual meshes made things easier too. This also, I was having a great deal of trouble with chamfering, because I assume because of all these triangles, and I will demonstrate the troubles and the way that getting rid of triangles made a difference. Like, see here, I was just dragging these off to the corners because I didn't want to do a continuous loop for whatever reason. I think I was just trying to keep polygon counts down. So now instead of lines here, they go straight, as you saw. So I will select this edge, and I will try and chamfer it. You can already see it's not going to work out for me. Yeah, so I'll add some subdivisions. But you see how, and you see how right here where these corners came in, just it doesn't quite act the way I want it to, especially if I'm going to have to unwrap this thing later. And like that corner kind of turns to mush. And like if I came up to this corner, it would be weird. If I go to my current one, and then chamfer that same edge with all these straight lines, which I was kind of worried about because I don't really understand chamfering, so I figured more lines is worse than fewer lines. Oh, that didn't work. I want to try loop. There we go. So now I've selected the whole edge and also some bits I don't want to select. Get out of here. And now I will chamfer that. Yeah, those settings are fine. And now see, it's nice and smooth. As long as these, it seems like if they come in at a right angle, basically, the software doesn't have any trouble at all figuring out what it wants to do with it. So I can work with this, and I can now produce what I would consider to be a quote high poly end quote model, because I'm going to do some chamfering and then add some modifiers basically as we were told. Also, let's undo this chamfering. I discovered that my unwrapping is is also easier with this done correctly. So I'm going to go to the top view. I'm just going to try and unwrap the front. So I'm going to select polygons, grab all those, and then ungrab the ones on top. And this, if my if my original model had been made correctly, and this was part of the time I spent today, I fixed all angles and all vertices. Everything lines up reasonably. But this is what I managed to grab by trying to grab the front, and it's enough to demonstrate the problem I was having. Unwrap UVW, blah 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 blah. Come down here. Aligned by, I'm in the front view, so that'll be Z. Yes, Z. Now I'm going to go to the UV editor and put that on the second screen. And let's go over there. So, wow, it's even worse than I seen before. Okay, I'm gonna try and explode it by group. Huh, that doesn't look right. Let's go back to the main screen. I don't know what's going on there. I think there's something wrong with the capture. Okay, it looks right on the main screen. That's weird. Main screen! So see, it kind of sort of lines things up better than it was before. But it's still not great because everything's not lined up. And like, see, even there's probably a vertex that's slightly farther back, so it didn't grab that polygon. Now in the present time, if I grab all the front polygons and then ungrab the ones that aren't on the front, go to the front, look at that. That's everything that touches the front is all lined up. And part of how I did this is I made these crazy rulers and basically redesigned the edge along 45-degree angles and made all these caps are the same height, because aligning vertexes on a diagonal, I don't know how to do other than to create a bunch of planes and merge them, making sure they're at the angles I want, and then using, you know, vertex and edge snapping to line them up with my diagram that I created, basically. So that's how I did that. But anyways, I unselected everything. Okay. Did I go too far? Yes. I will now unwrap this guy. And same thing as before, go down. I'm in the front view, so I want to do by the Z axis, and then go back up to the UV editor, embiggen it, and that doesn't look great, right? But, oh wait, did I do that wrong? Hold on. Oh, I did that wrong. Oops, too far. X-axis, Z-axis. I should be right. Maybe I just clicked the wrong thing. Worked before. That. It should be the Z-axis. I did click that, didn't I? It's strange that it would work differently in two different times. Huh. Huh. There is a way to do it in here. I can't quite remember what it is. But no, not that. Well, I've done it in here before. I'll just do by angle. But see, mapping's going to be a lot easier basically because I'm actually able to grab all the polygons relatively easy. It's going to take a lot less time. And it's odd that this is happening, but I did accidentally find in here before how you rotate things, but I've forgotten. But oh well. So basically I've found that doing away with as many triangles as possible can only help, and if you're having trouble lining things up, you can just make a bunch of planes and attach them to each other and weld them basically, and add vertices wherever you want vertices to be to help you line up your actual model to them, and do a lot of vertex and edge snapping. So I'm gonna go ahead and be about adding chamfering to all this and making it high poly. Cool.